Hello, everybody. My name is Nintendo, and welcome to this little preview, I guess, of TEPPEN. I guess what it looks like without 3 expansions that have been rotated out.
Rotation, you say? I'm here for that.
Oh, I know you are. Thanks again for joining me, Chopstick.
Hi, I'm HorribleChopstick. You probably know me from TEPPEN. All right.
So when you build a red deck, how many legendaries are in a red deck?
Right. Yeah, how many can you jam in there?
15 was it? I think last time. What are you jamming in from here?
Yeah, less so. I mean, Yukimura will probably see more play now, right? Because that spot has kind of freed itself up with Ken and some other stuff just like vanishing, right? So yeah, I mean, ideally, losing 3 sets while gaining 1 is pretty nice. As far as like it's going to shrink the pool. Of course, we'll see some new stuff. But I think it's going to keep decks from getting quite so out of hand, because with the Ada set launching, we're going to be at the ultimate critical mass for the number of cards you can play to choose from for a deck. Things are going to be really chaotic for those 2 months and probably not particularly super fun. But then after that, dropping 3 sets and then progressively rotating, right? They've also stated that after the rotation, every time a new set comes out, an old set will fall out of standard. So ideally, it'll keep things fresh. It'll keep things moving. Every couple months, we'll have a built-in rotation. So no card is going to last more than, I don't know how many sets it's going to be, but roughly a year and change probably is how long a card will be in standard for.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah,
that's a length of time. I probably maybe should just filter just Day and Nightmares, Devil's Awakening, Force Seekers.
And that's actually the better way to do this. Yeah, and all the cards we're losing, right? Rather than and eliminate everything else. Yeah, I think that's going to be the way to look at all this.
That's probably the way to look at it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this makes more sense because it's hard to like think about everything.
Yeah. So Grizzle,
Trust is going. That's a big one.
Trust is a big one. Bushinyu not so much because it has sort of dropped off because of Molly.
Right.
State is another big one.
Yep.
Let's see. Hellbat, I think, because that's a pretty big explore unit for Jill. Axel's gone. Axel's pretty freaking big because we've been using Axel to sort of deal with Orochi. Because Orochi's an ass. Turtle.
Mega Tortoise is gone.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about when I saw Kyle's tweet, like, my turtle! And I was like, what was he on about?
Yep.
Tortoise is gone. So the red-black stuff. What else are we losing out here? Carlos is another big one, I'd say, for Jill. Nash, Nash.
Not so much now, but certainly he's had his time.
Said his time. Chill Penguin and Rashid. Definitely these two.
Yep.
These two.
Those were so staple in so many red decks.
Yeah.
Spiral Pegasus to some extent.
Saw some play. Yeah, it was definitely making a comeback.
Valstrax had its time. It's come and gone, but since the nerf. But certainly it's shown for a long time.
Zeku fell off. Zeku's pretty big. Dimitri's kind of gone. Jail Seeker Truth. Whilst it was good back in the day, like not so much anymore, really. Like,
sure.
It was that this Ryu. So I think the other Ryu probably would replace it. I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't turn into an evil Ryu. But Lucia is the big one, I'd say. Right.
The new Ryu does have the on-play 5 damage guaranteed in the slot in front of it, though, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And Rush, so like he's going to do that plus 3 because he's going to start with 3 because of the damage on play, and so he'll buff himself once. Yep.
Definitely. And yeah, like you said, Ken. Ken's another big one.
Ken. Yep.
So goodbye, Ken.
Not gonna be. I'm not sad to see Ken go. He killed so many of my flying units.
Yeah, and Dragoon.
Yep.
Dragoon is another big one for red. Like,
I remember seeing this card when they first previewed. I was like, why does it have so many things?
Yeah, I know.
It gets every good keyword. Yeah. not sad about Dragoon being on.
Neither am I. So yeah, those are the big ones for red, I think. Moving on to green. So A-Trans, like it has its ups and downs. I does see, like, I think it turned into more gimmicky shit because it was used for that gimmicky crap.
It enabled a lot of like silly shenanigans, and those. That's just going to be gone as an option, which I'm not that sad about. So all the growth stuff, right? So we saw like defensive field, we saw the 1-cost growth enabler, battle at the summit, all these growth cards. Yeah, Awaken Power.
Battle Summit actually, yeah, because leveled up. Oh no, Battle Summit never really saw much play, but I say Awaken Power is pretty big actually, because helping with growth. Shona, not so much. Rebecca Chambers, you could argue maybe. Ava, I think could be a decent argument because
Ava was a big one. Certainly when Green was at the peak of growth when this set first came out, Ava was a big part of that deck, as far as triggering your G's or your Diabolos or what have you, right?
Definitely. Nidhogg is that Riku was once popular, but yes, Leia is the big one here, I say.
Yeah. For sure.
Layer's
a big loss for Green.
Green, because apart from the fact that she gives 30 MP, it's the fact that she can deal 3 to a random unit with flight. That's a big thing. If you can.
And she had the shield. Shield is pretty relevant. Kuliaku rotating is pretty relevant as well. Often it's long been a one of in a lot of various Green decks. Just to be able to give some random big thing agility sometimes is really good. So.
No, I agree with that one. I remember the days when Cold Battle was stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember that. That was stupidly fun. Let's see. Basiros. I remember you having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love Basiros. I think it's one of the cooler cards in the game. I love the flip and just the interaction with Yon that you get it on the flip, and then you get this big red thing that you can mess around with. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gone, unfortunately. So salutations to that.
All the growth stuff.
Oranguru was actually pretty decent, and Turtloid, Turtloid's gone.
Turtloid, yeah, that's been a staple for a long time in Green decks.
It's been a hell of a staple.
Lot of value.
I think this is pretty big, losing the ability to deal with destruction cards. Golden Orb is oh boy, bye bye.
Well, there's still ways to scoop Green stuff, right? I think there are still 2 ways. You still have Dream, and there's one other card that lets you scoop something up, the one that gives MP, right?
Yes.
The new
Kushi,
I don't know the name.
Explore for it. That's fine still, but Golden Orb itself is always good. I'm gonna miss G because I love G.
Yeah,
but I just didn't. It was just too slow, but I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah, it was a lot of board control when he was relevant. Diabolos, same way. Just big, powerful. If he was unanswered, he was just a 6/18 with spillover. Yeah,
very hard to deal with if you did not get rid of it, Dudley. But one of the 3 queens is gone. Karin. This is probably sad for a lot of people because there goes a green seal. Actually,
it's fine. Green has seals.
And Green has seals.
You still have Disarm. You still have ZZ.
You got those, sir. She's a big one, but I think next to her is Kushala. Kushala's probably another big loss there. Because Kushala's seeing a lot of play now for a lot of just black in general, and Kushala's just good for that reason.
But also a lot of those problematic black cards are going to be rotating out. Yeah, which we will get to.
So that's fair enough. One Arm Devil, Nero, not so much.
Yeah.
Huitzel, perhaps.
Yep. Definitely saw play.
All right, it's a play. Natural Cycle. I think that's a pretty big one there.
Sure, and shout out to Ascension Ceremony, which we saw both in 2019 Worlds and also recently was in the winning deck list for the most recent major tournament. I think it was the Tonewell tournament a couple weeks ago. Ascension Ceremony was run as a 2-of in that deck.
I must have missed that.
It's definitely a card that's seen some high level play here and there, even though you don't necessarily see it on the ladder a lot. It's definitely seen some tournament play.
God card, God Machine, Onari.
It had its time. It's silly time, yeah.
It had a silly time. I think because I know Nika's been seeing some play as well, like the big booty play. So that's kind of gone, which is a little fortunate there. Unbreakable Bomb, but that got nerfed for Alicia.
Alicia had some play, but never really caught on in a big way.
Yeah. All right, so. Moving purple. So here's the thing. A lot of the cards that really help with the lower attack one, like Deadly Traps, is one of these things. But Swirling, Bloodlust, if friendly users have ascended, have had ascended status 3 or more times, give -1 attack to all enemy units. So Iowa's deck thing. So
a lot of the cards that tie in with that are going to be rotating. But like I said, we'll probably, because that's the new hero, we're going to see new cards that support that archetype. So I'm not terribly worried about that with rotation, just because we're probably going to get a handful of things that interact in these ways, whether that's lane locking or lowering attack.
Yeah. Buffet and Monster Virus. Those are pretty
Virus,
good.
man.
I'm not I'm not sad that it's gone. I'm not sad. I'm
I've won a lot of games on the back of Virus.
But I will miss Buffet. Buffet was a nice card. for purple.
Especially because, like, with Ada, there's going to be a lot of EX Pocket stuff going on.
Yeah.
So it would be a good fit for that type of deck.
So for the first 2 months,
Bangle and Ceasefire.
Yeah, for the first 2 months, Bangle Ceasefire can work with the new with Ada, but after that, like we're losing.
They gone. Yeah.
Yeah. These are kind of important cards. Block all boards, block an opponent's board, stuff like that. Ada 1 cards, bats. A lot of the 3-cost purple growth cards that are really good. They're kind of gone. So your catchers, your Quillwooth, your Lucicia.
Yeah, I mean, even Dulcium saw play earlier. Morphmoth now though still sees a fair amount of use. Great Jagras sees play.
Great Jagras. I'm gonna miss Jury. Yep. I like this one.
And that's pretty relevant. The minus attack, yeah. Paolumu.
Palumu's a big one.
That saw a lot of play.
I think. Silent Assassin Gen when he was good.
Yep. Soul Reflect. And then 4s.
All the 4s, but
a lot of the original 4s team, yeah, that's all rotating. Antinora's a big one. 4s or not, Antinora would see play, just because it had a really cool, unique effect for purple.
Yeah, that was a big part of that. Hunk's gone as well.
Yeah, Oro too.
Skullduggery, Outriders, Sometimes your opponent could randomly surprise you with one of these, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, every once in a while you get blown out by Skullduggery or Outriders, and she'd be like, what? Really? Whatever. Okay, fine. You got me.
Like, that happened.
Jury, who fell off, never quite really got there, even though, theoretically very powerful, but it's harder to make her work.
Old Man Dante.
Yeah. But there's other 5-drop purple growth options now that are
way better.
Effectively just as good or better, yeah.
I will be sad to see Lilith go, because, Secret. That's rotating out, and I'm sad.
Same for Lumine. The cool spinny art. Yeah, that's one of my favorite secret arts.
These are the most unique when it comes to secret art cards. So, Viper, Surge of Demonic Power.
Yep.
Not that it was really much team play after the nerf.
Surge certainly, but it had a very powerful and strong heyday. If those that remember back to Worlds 2019, it was the surge of power mirror matches everywhere. So Tigrex.
Tigrex I think is a big one. This was
and that's unfortunate, because Tigrex is what I was thinking about when I was thinking about picking stuff up and putting it down with Ada's art, right? Picking up something small and jamming a Tigrex down is like, oh, that's terrifying.
Free Tigrex. It's like bang.
Yeah. Pick up a 3-drop. Instead, you have a Tigrex. Scary.
That's
very scary
stuff. Yeah, so I mean, you can still try to make it work. We got 2 months to sort of make something stupid work, and like I said, V as well.
V, yeah, and Soul's Return also had seen play, and potentially could have seen play with some of these new, maybe something with Ada's new arts where it's a little more control oriented. Maybe it could have been run in some capacity in that type of deck.
Yeah. I agree there. So that's Purple's shenanigans. So Black, first things first.
All right.
Get the hell out of here.
Up front.
Up front. This is gone.
Great. Yeah, this is the one I'm going to be really happy just to go through this list one by one and just put an X over each of them on the wall.
It's like bye mastery. All right, no longer an issue. Hatred Reborn.
Not so problematic now, but certainly at one time.
At one time, I remember, because it wasn't such a big deal, but when we found a way to abuse it with red black, I was like, dear God, Hatred is dumb.
Yeah.
It just became
Starvation Impulse pre-nerf was very ridiculous as well.
Oh yeah, pre-nerf was so retarded.
it was really powerful.
For a 2-cost, wow. I'm gonna be sad for Spike Launch, because Dino was kind of a staple for it. But
Eliminator. Once upon a time saw a lot of play.
Dynamo as well. This sick to.
Yep.
This one saw quite a decent play. With the Spike Launch decks we were running, which were fun. All right, big ones. Junie's out. Hallelujah.
Yeah. This might be the single most impactful card that rotates out
in May.
At least outside of legendaries. It's just such a staple for black decks, and it's such a strong effect, and it's just pushed effectively playing 3-drops out of the meta entirely, that's absurd for a card to be able to do. So, and that shouldn't be the case. That's not healthy.
Yep.
I'm not sad to see that go.
No.
Ascendgate.
Ascendgate's good.
I like Ascendgate a lot. I know he doesn't see a lot of play, but that's a card I'm certainly a fan of. But not whatever. That's fine.
Merciless Destroyer Vile, never saw play.
Never saw play. Even though you would think he could, even now, right? Like right now. But you know what? He's a 3-drop, and that's bad.
He's a 3-drop, and that's just bad.
No matter how big you make him, he's just gonna die to an Alfred. So,
yeah.
This is the other big thing that is moving. Yep.
Rebar. This is a big one.
This card has enabled both fair and unfair shenanigans for so long.
I still don't know why they didn't specifically just say black unit. I don't know.
That would help.
It would have helped. Because then I think I would have stopped complaining about it that much because it would have just been about black units. But nonetheless, it's gone.
It's gone.
This is a big one.
Forbidden fruit.
The fruit. Ooh, man. I saw when I realized this was gone, I'm like, ooh, boy.
Yeah.
That's saying goodbye. And recently...
Fate. Yeah.
Fate of the Unworthy. I am not sad.
There is a balanced version of this card that still will be in the game, so don't worry. It costs 4 and it doesn't deal 1 damage, so you know what? That's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it costs 4, or if you want the other one,
it can even hit ascended units. So there you go.
Yeah, the new one can hit ascended units. Or do you want the other one, which targets 5 HP or less, and that costs 3?
Oh, the cursed hands, yeah.
Cursed hands, like
that one's gonna see some play too for sure. That'll be the replacement probably. So
bye bye to Vile.
Corrosion.
No more corrosion.
No more corrosion for Explore.
No more corrosion for Explorer.
As it's written.
Yeah.
Still never got fixed.
It never got fixed.
Never got fixed.
I don't understand why. And now it's gone. Oh well.
Yeah.
Bandersnatch is gone. Seth is gone. Julie. I think.
None of these saw a lot of play. Bandersnatch sometimes, but. G-Adult.
I think G-Adult. Based on some of the new stuff that was out, like there was ways to potentially abuse it, but G-Adult's gone.
Right. Mostly it was used just as ways to generate fodder for ascending on. But we saw, the new Wesker generates a copy of himself that has seals, so that's kind of a token generation method now.
Yeah.
So there's still ways to make that happen.
Oh yeah, and Burr can also explores for corrosion as well. I forgot. So he's out. But Wesker. Nemesis, the failed.
For a period of time, that Wesker was seeing some serious play and was hard to deal with.
Oh yeah, no, this was fun back in the day with the amount of revenge you triggers. Like bam, Wesker at like 13-10 or whatever the crap that is. 13-13. Stuff was cool. The failed version of Sigma before they got it right.
Yeah, the worst Sigma. Yep.
The worst Sigma before they actually got it right. So it
much slower.
That was, I don't know. It wasn't. It seemed like it could, but then it was just like, nah, shit. It just doesn't work. I'm sad to see this one go, but like, because I kind of digged its victory condition, but its stats were shit.
Yeah. Just being a 5/3 made it hard to, make her last outside of playing 2-color and jamming shields or something like that. And that was still viable, but
yeah, I think for the spike launch, this hurts Malphus.
Yep. The companion to Dino Rex.
The companion to Dino Rex.
So well together.
And Urizen. Urizen's a big loss to spike launch. That hurts. Because he's a pretty crucial part of the damn thing. If you draw him in your hand first thing, it's like, haha!
Yep.
Just take control of the game.
Hard to deal with. And then it gets elected and you feel bad. Okay. Hey, speaking of which.
Hey, look! Alexia!
Yeah. Just again, very powerful staple black unit that indiscriminately can destroy stuff like Alfred just by existing. So not super sad about this one.
She's technically being like I said, she's technically being
2-for-1 Raging Demons.
2-for-1 Raging Demon, but it's now existing on the new dude, the new M Bison now. He's kind of the basically, but he costs more. So I'm willing to go with that. Because he's a 7 cost, I think. And he gives you indestructible from self-harm, so hey, whatever.
And he's also legendary, so you can only run 1.
He's only a 1, yeah, so. Am not sad to see go.
Yep.
As a lot of people.
It's just time. I think there will be I think we'll see a new version of Ouroboros maybe at some point, but certainly, a lot of the staples for that are going to be rotating especially with Rebirth, but, also the creatures. These and also the next card on the list, Magala. Yep.
Magala, yes. And it's going to Shigara Magala, so Ouroboros loses the heal.
Yep. It becomes a lot less sustainable, but it could probably still work. I'm sure there's enough stuff that you can hit with it that'll be good. But those are two of the most popular targets certainly in that deck.
Disease Souls, I think, because I started seeing some play into it because you pop a unit and you place an infected on the slot, so
right.
It was a way to get rid of something, but you give them something else. So
there's a new pretty good 5-cost removal though, so a lot of these will be that I'm sure we'll see replace some number of these.
The buff,
including Betrayal,
the buff that nobody ever wanted, but I guess it's being removed out anyway. So
yep.
Yeah. So Betrayal's gone. Bye bye. Dalmador. Okay, no more gimmicky crap, please.
Sure.
I don't want to see that crap. I'll be sad to see Vahasa go because G-Adult really did, benefit. It benefited from G-Adult's stuff, so.
Sure.
And I think the big trifecta here. First up, Cruel Game.
Yep.
Bye-bye board wipe here. Second, Master of Fistakuma. So Black loses this, popping you in front for free. And the next to that, Living Death.
Yeah. So the card that could just win the game within the first 20 seconds.
Yeah.
All right. False Throne, Living Death. All right, I win.
It's like, what now?
Nope. I'm glad that's gone. Yeah. So that's a pretty heavy. Of course, it's a lot. Well, you think you're like, wow, that's a lot of cards rotating out. Yeah, it's 3 sets worth of cards because they're effectively catching up on when they should have rotated several sets ago.
Yes.
So having that caught up, after this, it'll just be 1 set at a time rotating out and new things coming in, and it'll feel a lot better, and it'll be a much more smooth transition. This is going to be very jarring when it happens. It's just the game's going to feel different, and I think that's for the best. But notably, also, when this happens, Unlimited will come into play, and there will be Unlimited play. Now, I don't think they've said one way or the other, but I hope there's an Unlimited ladder. I like that a lot. In competing games, Magic has Legacy, which is a competitive format, or even Modern, right? Which I guess would be a more apt comparison for a newer game, which is an extremely competitive format and an officially sanctioned format and something they have major events for. Hearthstone has Wild, which has its own ladder and everything like that. So established games that have been around long enough that are card games that get into set rotation typically do have that bigger format, and they typically do have a ladder or some form of competitive play for it because it does build its own meta. It's often a very different game than whatever the standard meta is, and I think that's really cool, and I don't want that to necessarily go away. This is a lot of really powerful cards and effects, and we're sick of them now, but in a year you're like, man, I wish I could play with this or that again, and having a place where you can go do that competitively is really important. So I do hope we have an unlimited ladder or something, or tournaments or something. Certainly I'm sure eventually we'll come back around to making unlimited tournaments where everybody's doing all the broken stuff. And as more cards are added, that stuff gets more and more broken. And I think that's cool. It's great to have a place for that that's not standard, where you're getting oppressed constantly by those types of decks.
100% agree on that one. Yeah. So that's it. That's the list there, guys. So that's all the crap that's getting ditched in May. April or whatever. It's a lot of cards, so and you look at the sets without it, they do look weird. When you're just looking at the sets that don't have those expansions in them. So it's like
how many sets is that, by the way? How many expansions is that?
9.
It'll be 5. No, without them. So it's 5 right
6.
Now, right?
It's 6 because basic is counted as 1.
I'm not counting basic and core.
Okay. 5 then.
So 5 expansions, and then we'll have Ada, and then starting after that, it'll rotate 1 at a time. So it'll always be 6 expansions plus core and basic cards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was trying to figure out if it was 5, 6, or 7. I knew it was some number in there. So it'll always be 6 expansion sets.
Core is part of that. So if I ditch basic, that's 5 sets.
No, 6 total, right?
Core never gets rotated out.
Right, and basic cards won't either.
And basic cards don't ever either, so that is...
Right, so it's 5 now.
No, it's 6 now. You can't see it. It's 6.
Right, I wasn't counting core, though. So, yeah, It's 6 sets plus 8, so 7 sets, yes. But the core will always be there, so I'm not even going to count that. It's just always there. So, yeah, it's 6 expansions at a given time.
Core will always be there, yeah. So, basic is there, so, yeah. So, it's always going to be 6. So, I think that's fine.
Yep.
I was trying to figure out, Black in general. I was looking at Black specifically. I'm like, okay, so When it comes to the easy destructions, what's easy? What are the high risk cards? And a lot of Black's, high destruction cards are MP incentives. So Obliteration is the OG, and that's always going to be able to pop anything for free. But now you got like the randomness is Rebel's Memories. If you want to pop one thing randomly or the whole board, if you get lucky with it. Power of the Gods is only 6 MP or less, and you gain life. Curse Extraction, I still think that's broken as hell.
Yep.
That new 5 cost. That new 5 cost, I think, replaces Destructive Instinct easily.
Yeah, I think it's probably better. Although, yeah, I guess it is just straight better, right? Because it's a random enemy unit that's 3 or more attack.
Yeah. And if you play your cards right, you can make it target 1. So Sample Collection is also random.
Right.
You don't have to have a unit to lose in order to trigger it, and then
I think it's just strictly better than Sample Collection, though.
Yeah, and then what is it? Just Desserts is your unit and one of theirs.
That's not going to see much play anymore these days.
No,
it's because it's counterable. It's easily counterable by getting rid of the unit that they're trying to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Whereas Sample Collection doesn't work that way.
So your cheap destroy actions that Black will go for is Prayer Slips, because it is a 4 for 4.
That's Balanced Fate, yep.
That's a Balanced Fate card, I guess. And Demon Hands, which is
Demon Hands, yep.
Played a lot these days.
Yep.
Pop a 5.
And even potentially like Murderous might still see play.
I think Murderous will sort of see some come back to it, because I noticed that M. Bison card, he specifically says 5 HP or less. So I think they're changing the stuff for destructions. They're probably moving away from MP costs and going for HP. Which I think I'm fine with, because that means you've got to work to get that HP.
Right. That's also pretty relevant because, one of Ada's arts discounts whatever you pick back up by 2, and then suddenly it might become vulnerable to things it wasn't previously vulnerable to. And, again, that's just opening up the door for Black to be able to, take advantage. So I think it's good that they're kind of working towards balancing that. They're still gathering Effluvium as well, which is, that's always an option as well for low cost, right?
Gathering Effluvium, Assassination List.
Assassination List, yep.
That's 3 or less. There is Crossblade.
I think those are the same, right?
Yeah. Assassination List.
Except
and
you don't have to pay life for you pay life for Effluvium.
Yeah. Effluvium is pay life, and Murder Spikes is 3 is 2 attack or less.
Right.
So, I mean, those are fine because you're sacrificing life to do stuff.
Right.
So
right. Which is ostensibly how Black is supposed to work, is you have to make some sort of payment.
I feel
to have a more powerful effect.
With Ada now, Black's probably going to be running more Incense of Dooms. Just ditch the pocket. They're going to ditch the pockets. Because if Ada's bouncing...
It depends on how popular Ada is, though.
Yeah. But I definitely would expect some people to be basically, okay, if I'm running into Ada, I need to be able to, be ready for the X pocket. And just drop it in that situation. But apart from that, yeah, so... looking at Black, it almost feels like it's a little incomplete. Spirits, Oichi's probably the thing that's gonna be the main aspect of Black. Until the new sets come in, and then they can see what else you can do with Black. But Spirits will be hanging around, so I like Spirits.
Yeah, no, the Spirits are fine. Curse Extraction is still really good. It's still a problem, but. Certainly, Black is just going to be toned down. Losing Alexia and Alfred that's a big part of it.
Yeah, this Curse Seal card is actually pretty good. Return a random pocket, and then you lock a board slot for 10 seconds. So this should see some play with Ada, definitely.
That could be the new Rescuer's Bullet, right? With certain conditions met, and with decks that are kind of built around board lock. Yeah.
So that's cool. I was remembering, hang on, there is a new Curse Seal that actually benefits. There's that one.
Prepping for it all along.
I guess they were prepping for it because Magic Seal was just
no. It's so expensive.
It's just why? Unless they do some kind of new update and actually decrease the MP cost of this, it's not going to see play.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something I've written about. I've spilled a lot of digital ink on that exact thing. Is that I think just changing cards just to change them that don't see play, changing arts that don't see play, overhauling them entirely or greatly improving them, just to see what happens to the meta. I'm a huge fan of do that. And I know we both play Duel, and they do that, right? Where like the change list will come out like for the month, and it's like, all right, here's the 55 cards we have completely changed this month.
And have fun. Like, I'm like, right? What?
Yeah,
gotta wrap my head around this.
And I like that though, because it keeps everything super fresh. Now, at least we're getting rotation. At least that'll be the way things can be kept fresh. But I'm still very much on board with more aggressive balance changes. Not just nerfing problematic cards, but like buffing all the other stuff that never sees play.
Yeah, like I think if they wanted to change this, I would say make it bounce a 4 MP or less, make the MP cost way cheaper, bounce a 4 MP, and then still lock the board for 10 seconds, because then that still ties into utilizing Ada. And it would see play then, because I get to, I'll bounce something and I'll lock a board slot. So I'll do whatever it is for that stuff. So yeah, but I think that's it, guys. That's just sort of like a sit rep of what things are looking like. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. I know I haven't streamed TEPPEN in a while, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. A bunch of us have sort of stopped for a little bit. I'm on a little break. Guilty. I'm on a break because I needed it, and it's like, all right, after all this, it's getting the blood pumping. We're excited. Not going to be great for the next 2 months because
next 2 months are going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be out of control. Yeah.
There's going to be 10 sets starting next month. Will be 10 sets of cards. Like, what the hell?
There's at least 2 really good Black Ascended units that are going to be in this next set.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to be definitely using the new M Bison card because that's ridiculous. It's just so good.
Just another tool. It's gonna be so good. So yeah, basically enjoy your what is effectively unlimited for the next 2 to 3 months before rotation actually happens.
Yeah,
and
then we'll get to see what really goes on. But again, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave your comments and likes below. As always, guys, thanks again, Chopstick, my man. Appreciate it, dude.
Always. Find me, HorribleChopstick, Twitch, Twitter, everywhere.
He's around. You'll
probably see me yelling about this game.
But yeah, we'll leave it there, guys. Again, I'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, take care, everybody. Ciao.
Bye.